Just wanted to thank our guests today for the open space fireside chat, Jack and Noah from E&K, who have decided to join us. We'll do some quick introductions on our end and then toss things over to them to introduce themselves. So my name's Alex Brown. I'm an account manager with Open Space. I've been with Open Space about 3.5 years now. My background comes from the drone industry. I sold drones to civil engineers, mining, and construction clients for a number of years. And I jumped over to Open Space a few years ago to help out with the interior reality capture side of things. And joined on our end today with my colleague, Aaron Baker. Aaron, if you want to do a quick introduction of yourself.
Yeah, my name's Aaron Baker, solutions engineer here at Open Space. My background's in the general contracting side of things. So worked for a number of years with a large GC down here in San Diego. Was a customer of Open Space for a number of years and used it pretty extensively. I came over to this side and really, help people understand the uses of Open Space and how it can benefit, the construction industry as a whole. So happy to be part of this panel today and joined by the E&K folks.
Perfect. Thanks, Aaron. And let's hop things over to our special guests, Jack and Noah from E&K. If you guys just want to tell us a little bit about your background and why you got into the construction industry. Jack, we can get started with you.
Yeah, my name is Jack Schierling, originally from Kansas City. I grew up there and went to school at Kansas State University in Manhattan, the Little Apple. So Wildcat for life. I always wanted to come to Colorado. So when I got the opportunity coming out of school to work with E&K, my education was more geared towards general contractors. So I didn't really know what to expect, but I just knew a couple things is that the people that I interviewed with seemed like really down to earth people. And I always wanted to go to Denver. So those two boxes were checked and I was like, I'm ready for my next adventure. So I came out here in May of 2020. So pretty tumultuous time for the rest of the world. But, I had my sights set on making a difference here at E&K and construction never stopped. So I got a lot of good experience as a project engineer and it kind of got me ready for my next big step was to become that next level of project engineer out at SCL, where I'm doing a little bit more project management and stuff like that. And that's where I reside right now out at SCL, a hospital that, we'll be touching on later today. So with that, I'll hand it over to Noah here.
Yeah, so I'm Noah McCrory. I'm originally from Florida. I moved to Denver about 3.5 years ago. My parents are in the real estate business, so I grew up working on the rental properties a lot. I did some steel framing for about a year, traveling around. And then when I had the opportunity to move here to Denver, I took it. I kind of found E&K through a miracle, and I've been here for about 1.5 years. I'm a field engineer out at SCL Health. I do a lot of walking with Open Space. And yeah, it's pretty much about me.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, yeah, tell us a little bit more about the work that E&K does. And then also tell us a little bit about this project that you guys are working out at SCL.
Yeah, for sure. So E&K of Denver is one of 5 different units of E&K. We have one in Kansas City, Omaha, Phoenix, and remind me where the last one is. Kansas City. Did I already say that one? Yeah. Well, we have LJ2 that's out in California. But we are part of CDM Group, which is our overall umbrella. But what we basically deal with here is drywall and metal framing. That's our bread and butter. We also get into acoustical ceilings as well, and then specialty ceilings. So that's pretty much our bread and butter. Here we're commercial construction company. So we deal mostly in hospitals, high rises, and a lot of apartment buildings and stuff like that. So that's, like I said, that's our bread and butter. But to kind of get into SCL is our pride and joy right now. We've been out there for about 2 years now. It is a SCL Health of Lutheran. So they going to be basically servicing all of the Front Range on the west side of Denver. So it's a great opportunity for us. We did one on the east side of Denver, and now we're on the west side. So it's kind of full circle for us over the last 4 to 5 years to, be involved in such large construction projects that are really going to change the lives of a lot of people here in Denver for, long after we're done. So I think that's the coolest thing for us. As far as the project itself, it's a seven level hospital, and that basically comes down to 2 layers on the podium is what we call it. So 2 large footprint like levels, followed by a tower that goes up that is 5 levels. So we own the podium as far as that's our scope of work. And another drywall subcontractor is taking over the tower. Although we do intermix when it comes to shafts and stuff like that. That is mostly how that is divided. So we have on our first 2 levels, it is a lot of different things. So we have, the cafeteria, we have the pharmacy, we have the business side of the hospital. We also have patient rooms, and we have ORs too, which is probably the coolest thing that we get to deal with because the amount of coordination in those areas is just unreal. And we're just the drywall guys, right? But it really is cool when you get to experience how your systems interact with a robotic arm that's going to be performing surgery for people. So that's been the coolest thing for me, is to be able to see that come to fruition from the very beginning, from being out there, in the dog days of early March in Denver, when it's 70-mile-an-hour winds coming off the mountains, no joke, and it feels like it's negative 10 degrees out there, to where we are now, where you're actually seeing some of these finished high-tech equipment getting put into a wall that you saw put up two years ago. So but yeah, as far as SEL is concerned, it's definitely been the high point of my career so far. Noah, did you have anything to add for SEL and anything about E&K?
No, just that E&K is it's a great place. Everybody here is they're spot on. Everyone's honest, and the integrity here is great. Everyone works hard, and you can tell that we really try to set ourselves aside from the competition just by, doing it right the first time. I think we take pride in that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, a project of this size and scope, tell us about some of the unique challenges that you guys run into at SEL, and how have you all been able to use technology like open space to help out with some of those challenges?
Yeah, maybe not so unique for the sort of construction that we do. I know we alluded to this in our conversations before this started, but our walls really interact with everything on the entire job site, from the construction or the concrete on the ground to like I said, the robotic arms. It's really everything in between. So for us to have issues with coordination is nothing new to us. But as far as SEL is concerned, we've had a very concerted effort with utilizing technology like Bluebeam and open space to document above ceiling patching that has occurred, whether its owner changes to the one piece of MEP that is 3 rooms away might have a wide-reaching effect on in-place work in 50 rooms. So just balancing that along with people make mistakes, and we're no stranger to that either. Maybe you get your layout wrong by a couple inches or a couple feet, and what that entails. So that has been a big concerted effort by way of technology for us, is to document above ceiling and how that affects us via constraint mapping, or cost collection and stuff like that. Because obviously, if you're taking down in-place work that was originally scoped, there's going to be some sort of compensation that would be expected from that, So that's been the real crux of this project is definitely above ceiling and the coordination between other subs. And in an ideal world, I think you'd like to say that we were all able to come to agreement on everything. But unfortunately, sometimes, people have vested interests in other parts. We're no different in that respect. So you have to be able to make sure that, what you're preaching is backed up by data. So that's where, Noah comes in for sure, because he's the one out there actually, taking the pictures and talking with the foreman and getting their narrative as well as, documented backup for that. So, and then I go ahead and take that on my end and then take it into, coordination meetings and stuff like that to actually determine, where to go from there. So I know that's a long-winded way of saying that technology is in everything that we do out here, but just hope you come away with the fact that, above ceiling here and all the MEP penetrations is what is what we mainly focus on. So.
Yeah, no, I want to ask you a little bit more about that because, we're looking at kind of the end results of what the data that you've been able to collect with open space. But as Jack mentioned, you're the person out in the field actually using and capturing this data. One of the challenges that we hear quite consistently is that adoption within the construction industry is difficult. Can you share a little bit about your experience on using open space out in the field and what your process looked like to get set up and running with this system?
Yeah, for sure. So we originally did a 30-day trial with open space before we committed. And I had previously had a lot of experience with Struction Site. One thing that really pulls me towards open space, and it's my preferred software at this point, is just the AI technology. When I walk in the building, I usually start from the same point. I'll just zoom in on the map, make sure it's right. I hit record, and then I just go. This project is by far the largest square footage I've worked on. I was previously over at the airport using Struction Site. And I took anywhere from 300 to 500 photos weekly there. And it usually took me, 8 to 10 hours a week just to get photos of one floor. Whereas here I can, get out there at 9 and be done by 11 at the latest, depending on my walking speed. I really like open space, truthfully. I was really happy when they decided to fully, jump over. Has a lot of cool features, and I really like the whole thing with it.
Yeah, and to kind of add on to that, I think to go back to your adoption question is luckily, we had a superintendent that had used this before or had at least seen it. And he was adamant about it. And he's, one of those rare types that has been around for a long time, but is always on kind of the cutting edge of using technology to further our goals. So as far as adoption was concerned, we had a very good role model. And, being on the younger side of things too, Noah and I are always, looking for ways that we can, make ourselves more effective. So in a good way, since we were put in charge of this, we were able to kind of avoid any of that hesitance towards adopting a new software. And I think we'll get into field notes later too. But with us just being able to talk to open space to Alex and Aaron, actually, who are both on this call, and get the confidence to know how to do things. Once you show that confidence to the field, they don't have as many questions or hesitancy for when you're doing something like a constraint map. If you're like, nope, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is how it's going to come up. And, all you got to do is walk and let me know and give me a couple of 30 seconds or so to jot down some notes on these field notes. So we were really fortunate. I think that, like Noah alluded to, we were always very confident in the time saving aspect, but we're really, I mean, speaking for me, exclusively blown away by the other features and even the future of where we can go with this software.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about those other features. You know, obviously we've been looking just at kind of the 360 pictures from the captures, but tell us a little bit more about that constraint map process and how you've been able to use OpenSpace to help out with that, and also what your previous workflow was to create those constraint maps before OpenSpace.
You want to take this one?
Yeah. So previously we were using Bluebeam. We would load the drawings up on the iPad, and you would have to go sheet by sheet, floor by floor, and you just put a cloud, hit a picture, and then the document becomes cluttered once you build up enough constraints. What's nice about OpenSpace is you hit record. You're basically killing two birds with one stone. You're capturing the building at the same time as mapping constraints. So one thing I like is you literally just open the app, you hit capture field note, you take a picture of what the foreman asks you to capture. You get to write a little description. You can put a tag in there. We made a constraint tag so we can filter those out. What's nice is the status of it as well. We can put it as a high priority. We can put it in dispute. And you can also click into it and actually go right to that 360 capture where you're in the building. So if you had messed up on the photo or something. But I really like this because I don't have to jump from page to page to page. I just walk the building, I hit capture note, take a picture, and pretty much go to the next one.
Awesome. And then how are you guys able to report on these as well?
Yeah, so once I upload my capture, when I get back to the office, all my field notes will be on the left-hand side of the screen, and I can just export and filter by constraint. I can do it by date range and a bunch of other options. It usually just gets emailed over to me in a couple of minutes. And then from there, it pulls up in a web browser where you can, it shows the priorities, all the constraints that you did that day. And you can click around and it'll take you right to the 360. It's pretty awesome.
That's very cool. Great. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing a little bit of that data and how you guys have been able to use this to your advantage. You know, I guess the last question we have before we wrap things up here, for anyone who might be watching this webinar and has never used reality capture 360 cameras before, what advice would you give them if they wanted to start a program like this at their company and help sell this to their executives? What advice would you give them to get started?
Just speaking from experience and getting a little bit of pushback, not necessarily from, the fact that we don't want to do it, but just, with anything as you get bigger company too, when changes are happening, you need to have evidence for why you want to make those changes. So for anybody who's looking to get into this, I think what it really comes down to is documentation. Our company operates under the assumption that you can never document too much because unfortunately at one time or another, we've been in a position where we didn't have enough documentation. So this tool is incredible for that. But I think also what you need to consider is the possibilities moving forward, and that this is one of those things that this software especially is one of those things that I think can just grow to an exponential level for anything that you really want it to be. I mean, we didn't even get to really touch on in our 30-day trial or up to this point the progress tracking that you guys offer. In the future, I think that we'll definitely go down that road. But for right now, for being so far along in this particular, this is our flagship project for this for this program. It was just a little too late. We've been stuck in our ways for lack of a better term. So that's something that excites me, like something like that, or even the BIM modeling capability that can do exactly what you're seeing on the screen now, but actually see the BIM model for the building. I just think that those things set open space apart and are definitely should be determining factors for why you want to get into this program. You know, at the very basic level, it is a like a very good picture taking software. And you know, if you get down in the weeds, it seems like the possibilities are endless. So I hope that answered your question. I just got a little hypothetical on you, but I just see the future, and this seems a lot like it.
Awesome. That's great. Well, you guys have been a great partner to have over these last few months that you've been using open space. I mean, Noah, it's just incredible to even just look at these maps and the extent to which the you know, you can see the green lines of your coverage there. I definitely hope you got your Apple Watch running when you start your open space captures. But you know, I think it's pretty impressive. You know, a lot of people in this country talk about making a difference when it comes to giving people access to healthcare. And that's one of the big challenges facing this country right now. And you guys are really putting in the work to make that happen. So it's pretty cool to see this building, you know, like you mentioned, Jack, that started as nothing and is now, you know, a pretty impressive tower. And, you know, we'll be there for the rest of our lifetimes and generations to come. So, you know, we really appreciate the work that you guys are doing. That's certainly one of my favorite parts about doing this job is getting to see the scale of the types of projects that y'all are working on. So really excited to head out here next week and go visit in person. But you know, I just wanted to really thank you guys for joining today and sharing your experience on how it's been building this and also using our technology to help out with that. Any other parting thoughts before we hop off today?
No, I just think I want to just thank you guys too for giving us the opportunity to come out here and talk and kind of promote E&K. And maybe, you know, if we convince one person to make the switch, then they can, you know, experience what we've experienced, which is, you know, at the very least time saving, but at the very most changing people's lives. So.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining today, everyone. If you would like to explore a little bit more about open space, and, you know, as Jack and Noah mentioned, one of the ways that they got started is through our free 30-day trial program. Feel free to reach out to Aaron and I. My phone number is 949-257-9847. My email is alex.brown@openspace.ai. We'll make sure to post that in the follow-up email with the recording, as well as on the YouTube page as well. But thanks so much for joining, Jack and Noah. And yeah, hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Cheers.